Subscribers to the channel will know I'm a lazy painter and I just get by. These bite-sized builds are what I do in between my bigger builds to keep me entertained, but mostly to try and get better at painting. So I've an Ork Scrap Tank made by Cromlech. Two reasons why: A, because I liked the picture before I bought it, and B, I don't usually work on this scale simply because of my monkey-sized hands. Since this is a bite-sized build, it'll do away with a lot of the razzmatazz of begging for liking and subscribing and hyping the channel, and just get to, a lot of what we want to see, which is the painting side of things. It shouldn't be too hard to simply glue things together, should it? Fresh out the bag, I can see there's some flashing I'll need to prune off. And I'll have to take these little bits of resin off the tank treads. So here goes. I'll just take some bits off and just be very careful with this. Ow, that hurt my finger. Okay, I'll try with the knife. And no, that's kind of not working. So back to the trimmers. Hang on, I'm being a bit of a potato here. I need bigger pliers. So here goes. I'm just going to snip that bit off, which is, yep, that does that. And now for this long bit, which should be relatively easy until I do this trick and break the tire track. Well done, Aaron. Well done. I'll probably get away with it if I be able to glue this back together. So I'll glue this and then we'll do the next one, knowing not what to do for the next tank track. I'll quickly make up the Ork tank pilot, driver, whatever you want to call him. I'm going to call him Tony the Tank Driver. So I quickly glue the tank tracks to the actual main body of the tank. And this is the bit where my monkey fingers actually break the other tank track. I told you I'm useless at doing these small little vehicles. So I add some more glue and glue that quickly together. I want to blame the product, but the product is faultless. It's me with the monkey fingers. I'm just too heavy-fisted. Anyway, that's the tank bit. Then I had an idea of putting magnets for the turret to sit into the actual tank. Unfortunately, that didn't work, simply because it was too deep and my magnets were too thin. Now, I could have added more magnets, but I didn't want to use up all my magnets just for this one thing, so I'm just going to leave that separate and loose so I can turn it around whenever I want. So we can skip over this pointless, needless bit and get on to the next bit. Since this kit didn't come with instructions, I'm just going with the flow and, well, hoping I'm putting the things in the right place. I can hear you all shouting at the TV screen, why didn't I just check out the picture and follow what the picture says? Well, where's the fun in not knowing what you're doing? Bit of a jump cut, but it's all primed with Gallery's Kaleido Black Matte Primer, which is fantastic coverage. I keep harping on about it, but these primers are really, really good. So I'm going to use Kaleido's Red. I think this is russet colour or something. I'm going to use that as the base colour. This approach I'm taking is less is more. Or if you're in a rush and only have 4 to 5 colours to use, this is how I would probably paint it. So I'm going to paint all that the base colour. Once the base coat is dried, I'm going to use a brighter red and just hit certain areas or certain high points of the tank. So here goes. And hopefully you can see I'm just hitting high points. I'm not doing a full coverage of the tank, just here and there, just little bright spots of brighter red. And then once that's dried, it's time to break out some silver, and we're going to do a little bit of dry brushing all over the tank. But just make sure that your dry brush, you've got most of that paint off that brush. You need to coax it off the brush onto the I'm just making this bit up now, but just make sure that this brush is as dry as possible, and then lightly go over it. See, I've got too much on there, so I'm just dabbing or wiping stuff off, and just gently bringing up all the high points and bringing out the detail. So once your dry brush of silver is done, let's go in with some sort of like Korax white, I think it's called, and paint in all those skulls. Now some people have asked me what paintbrushes I use, and I always reply with cheap and cheerful ones. This one that I'm using is from Army Painter, and I got it free because I was buying something that this paintbrush came free with. And yeah, it's nice, but I don't know, paintbrush is a paintbrush to me, unless somebody can tell me differently or suggest other paintbrushes that I should try and use. I'll always use cheap and cheerful paintbrushes. Technically, white and red mixed together is still a lighter red than what I've used already, so we're still within the 4 paints that I said I was going to use. And what I'm doing here is just highlighting just certain areas and just trying to change the tone so it's not just like a monotone red with a slightly redder background. I don't know, I just thought it'd look cool if there was some panels that were slightly more red than the rest of the vehicle. And the 5th and final colour is green for Tony the Tank Driver. So once all that's done, I'm going to rip off a bit of sponge from the kitchen and then dab it in some silver and then try and apply some chipping to the tank. So there you go, I used 5 colours to paint up this Ork Scrap Tank. So next are the glamour shots. Thanks very much for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed this little bite-sized build, and until next time, yep, keep scratching that build, everybody.